This gentleman with Parkinson's started supplementing the NAD with us, and the results we're seeing are just like amazing. He's not perfect in running marathons, but he's walking around without his hunch and his cane. I check in with his wife the next day, like, hey, how's he doing? And she's like, I couldn't believe it. I woke up and I walk out and he was up before me, which is rare. And he's sitting in his chair in the living room, giant smile plastered across his face. And it's like, what's going on? And then I see him get out of the chair, stand up with no cane, no hunch. And he's like, I feel better than I felt in a long time because of something that we all.
You have found Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. Downloadable audio episodes can be found in the podcast link found at drawInCustomers.com. We are locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie, and today we're welcoming / preparing to learn from Shahayra and Jonathan of the Hydrate IV Bar. So, Shahayra, Jonathan, how are you guys doing today?
Wonderful. Excited to be here.
Yeah, woot woot. Let's talk about Hydrate IV Bar. I don't know what in the world an IV bar is, and I bet a lot of people don't either. So let's just start with, what is an IV bar?
Happy to tell them. You want to go or want me to go?
Yeah, I'll kick it off if you want to add in if there's anything that I missed. But have you ever had an IV before?
Yes. I had a saline IV thing when I had a gut thing, a stress gut thing way back when.
Probably in the hospital.
Yeah, not a fan.
Yeah.
Not a fan of being in the hospital.
Yeah, right. Yeah. A lot of people are used to thinking about IVs being something that you get in the hospital or at urgent care in an emergency situation, but an IV bar actually takes those services outside of an emergency situation and lets you be a little more proactive about rapidly rehydrating your body.
All right.
For your different health and wellness goals. There's lots that we can do with supplementing things that you might be deficient in, or if you're just feeling certain ailments that could be improved with additional vitamin supplementation or hydration. That's usually why people come to an IV bar. For me, it's been more of a proactive thing. I realized as I started doing IVs on a regular basis, I felt more energy. I was getting sick less. I didn't really let anything get me down as much, like during cold and flu season. Yeah. Anything that you would add to that?
I think that sums it up great.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. How do you get in the IV bar business?
You take that one.
Okay. So, we both in our travels, like neither of us are from Madison. I've been here 10 years. Shahayra's been here 7. And we've both in our travels and living other places seen this as a more established concept in other places. Right. And, in the Midwest, whether it's fashion trends or wellness modalities, we're generally the last to get just about everything. And so here we are. And so, IVs have saved us in numerous occasions from feeling bad. And really, until we got in the business, didn't yet understand how much it can make you feel good in a consistent and proactive sense. But we just saw this as a market that makes so much sense for it because, what people traditionally associate it with is hangovers, at least in a selective sense.
Okay.
Which it is phenomenal for, I've heard at least, but
take note.
But beyond that, like the founder of our brand, she got into this. She was a Broncos cheerleader, and she noticed all the guys in the team are doing these IVs routinely all the time, and that was part of her origin story of getting into this. And so athletes love it, and athletes have been ahead of the curve in taking advantage of this. So for athletics and drinking, Madison, we have a lot of both. And
turns
beyond
out,
that, yeah. So, and then beyond that, we also have a very vibrant wellness scene. We have a population that likes to take care of themselves. And I mean, in so many ways it made sense, but it was something that we saw being severely underserved. So it wasn't like we wanted to start a business and we're like, what business do we do? It was like, we noticed that there was a gap in the availability of these types of services in a place that it makes so much sense to have them. And the rest kind of naturally came from there.
Right on. So did you hunt down a franchise, Or did you get introduced to the franchise and you're like, yes, that's what we want?
A little column A, little column B. I did interview like every franchise under the sun doing IVs.
All in the IV stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many are we talking here?
Oh my God. I think I started talking to folks in September of 2024, and then we signed our franchise agreement February of 25. So yeah, I mean, that gives you a little gauge. It took me months and months of just talking.
Like, I don't know how many
Yeah.
franchise IV
Yeah.
thing. Are we talking 5? Are we talking 50?
Oh no.
I'd say a dozen and a half, maybe.
Yeah, maybe closer to like the 20 or 30
Wow.
mark. Yeah.
Franchise.
Franchises.
And
Oh
there
my God.
are a few that dominate the market.
Okay.
There are a few that are bigger, but what's interesting is this industry. It's very highly regulated, but the regulations are different state to state. So if you know a little bit about franchising, you know that franchises have to be registered in every single state, and some states are harder to get registered in. And so I talked to a lot of the folks that I was able to get their franchisees on the phone and get honest opinions about the kind of support they're receiving, how the market has received them. I particularly talked to folks in the Midwest or familiar with the Midwest. Because, you know, the market in the Midwest is not going to be what it is in, you know, Nashville, Tennessee, for example, where you're getting a lot more tourism and all that.
Sober me up.
Yeah,
Sober me up.
right. Yeah. Or Vegas, for example. That's where I think I got Jonathan to do his first IV. That's kind of where IV therapy first popped up in the States. Believe it or not, the first place that I think started doing IVs, at least that I found in my research, was in Tokyo.
2008.
Yeah. So
Olympics or what?
No, it was actually, so IVs have been around, and like this is a whole other tangent, and I love rabbit holes online.
Oh, we'll go all day.
Yeah. I mean, could you
IVs
tell we love this stuff?
Yeah. IVs, people have been attempting them since about the 1600s.
Okay.
They realize, okay, we have blood, and blood carries a lot of important things to the body. Let's try and put things in there. The issue is that, you know, at that point in time, there was a lot more plague and other things that you probably didn't want in there that could inevitably get there. So IVs in their current iteration, you know, you think of the bag and the line going down, that's been around in medical context for right around early 1900s, late 1800s. It started to develop into what we see now.
Sure.
But it was, you know, something just used in a medical context. Then 2000-ish, you know, like early aughts, you started to see some people very well-to-do, whether professional athletes, touring musicians, generally someone like the bar of entry was having a private doctor, realized that this could be really good in certain elective circumstances, whether jet lag, fatigue, you know, helping with athletics and all these different applications beyond like I'm in the hospital and have a diagnosable ailment. So then from there, 2008 Tokyo, the first place that had it sort of in this elective sense opened up. So Tokyo, they have, you know, this work culture of like, it's insane from everything I've read about it. You know, just working a corporate job, like 12 plus hours a day, however many days a week. And naturally that wears people out. IVs are something that can help with that. So a small wellness boutique opened up, and there's not as much literature as I'd like there to be to research about this place. But in 2008, kind of the first IV bar / IV spa sort of concept that we could find any, you know, literature or anything on, they opened up. I don't know if it's still around or not. And then 2012 or so, Vegas was ground zero for it existing in the US because naturally a lot of things one might engage in Vegas are very aided in doing by IVs.
That's right. We don't know what it is because it stays there.
Yeah.
I barely know it's a place.
Yeah. So yeah, I talked to everyone that was franchising in the States. There were some people that, you know, aren't still franchising in the States, are focusing on international markets. There are some folks that, in addition to IVs, are doing like GLP-1s, peptide therapy, Botox, microneedling. And I knew I didn't really want to get into that business. I mean, there's so much there with understanding the modalities and the science behind different offerings. And I'm a very high context person. I like to know like the ins and outs of what I'm doing and be the ace of one rather than a jack of all trades. So I really wanted a place just doing IVs that could give people just basics, like this is what vitamin C is good for. This is what glutathione is good for. This is what NAD is. And just bring these health services to people in a more accessible fashion. Because currently, well, I guess at the time, not currently, now that we're here, but when we were first looking into this, the only place that we could get an IV in Madison was like at the hospital.
And I imagine you can't just walk in there and be like, hey,
Right. Yeah.
I just want to hang out right there and just get the needle with the bag and all that. Just I'll hang out.
Yeah. No, it's a lot harder and more expensive. You're paying that ER bill. You're paying for the labor of all the people involved in getting you admitted and all the things versus, coming into an IV bar rather than a 4-figure bill. Maybe you'll spend a couple hundred.
All right.
So yeah, it's a fraction of the cost. So yeah, going back to what Jonathan said about seeing the gap here, we just knew we wanted to go with a franchise because we didn't have the medical background.
Okay, fair. Fair.
Yeah.
So tell me, out of all the franchises, the 20 odd that you looked at, what were some of the red flags with some and the green flag with this one specifically where you're like, that's the one?
Yeah.
So there were so many things to consider. And, before doing this, like I always like to say, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. And
Mike Tyson, yeah.
Well, and building upon that, the best plan I found is to plan on being punched in the face. And we knew, especially getting into something that, people aren't as acquainted with, it's a little bit more alien concept than a lot of businesses you could start out, that we were going to get punched in the face a fair amount. And we wanted to, find a brand that, one, had the experience, wasn't like rapidly expanding beyond what's tenable for being able to provide a good client experience and a good franchisee experience. And Hydrate's been around since 2016.
Have they really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
10 years.
They've, as far as this space goes, they've been around a while.
All right.
And then beyond that, they were the most intentional with the offerings of anyone that we talked to, because in this space,
offerings as far as what was supplied for in the bag, essentially.
Right.
I don't know what the nomenclature
well,
is.
Yeah. In terms of what's on the menu, it's just IVs, vitamin injections. That's it. So not NAD, which comes in an IV or shot. That's a whole other conversation we can get into.
Yeah.
But it's all stuff that already exists in your body that you get from your diet, with the exception of we have Zofran and Toradol, which are respectively anti-nausea and like a heavy NSAID if someone's ever, feeling symptoms of something that the IV and the vitamins are going to help us, with the root cause of, but those can help with the symptoms immediately and give them some relief. But it's a very curated and very intentional set of offerings. And in this space, in the sort of med spa space, there's so many different concepts and businesses coming out. And it's also part by design, part because it's new for a lot of reasons. A lot of it's under-researched. And, we didn't want to be doing 25 different things. Like in just doing what we do, there's a lot of things to understand and a lot of nuance to it. And, like Shahayra said, like we wanted to be the ace of one. And that was one thing we really liked about Hydrate. Beyond that, just aesthetically, the brand. And then the sort of icing on the cake was on our first call we get on with them. One of the owners of the entire system, he hops on the call and he's like, I don't normally join these, but I had to when I heard Madison, and I'm like, oh, interesting. You probably visited a few years ago or something like that.
Everybody's party here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My friend told me to come out. I went to a Badgers game. And he's like, so I was born and raised in Sun Prairie.
Oh, funny.
And the brand's based out of Denver. And so we're like, oh, well, we're not going to make our decision based on that, but that definitely helps. And then after, doing all sorts of diligence and having different disciplines of attorneys look at the FDD and all these different things, we finally made the decision, like, Hydrate is the way to go for us.
All right.
And throughout the journey, we've just seen so many things that have reinforced that.
Yeah. I think you also asked, like, what was it about the other franchises that maybe steered me away from them. And it's interesting because it wasn't anything that necessarily steered me away. Like, if anything, there were other things about other franchises that were more appealing, like more franchisees, or like the books are a little more evolved. But we really felt that we would be more passionate representing Hydrate IV Bar, and we could really envision it in Madison in a way that's really rooted in the community. People here love supporting local businesses. They love to know, like, who's behind the desk or behind it all. Having a face to the name is so important, I feel, in a community like Madison's business community, that I just felt we could do more justice to IV therapy with Hydrate behind us, rather than just like the cookie cutter,
Sure. Fair.
Starbucks that you might put up. Yeah.
Tell me a story about, like, the two of you were married?
By
together?
franchise
Okay.
agreement.
Whose idea was it, like, hey, let's quit whatever it is we're doing and just jump in head first, feet first, whatever,
man.
full body
Yeah.
into the pool of not only business ownership, franchise ownership? You're talking brick and mortar?
Yeah.
I don't know what the capital outlay is, but it's probably not free.
No.
Whatever.
I wish it was.
License, right? We all do.
Yeah.
We all do all that. That had to
Yeah.
be an interesting conversation
Yeah.
about,
Yeah.
like, hey, let's make a strong 180 about where we are to this thing and go all into it. How
Yeah.
did that
Mhm.
conversation go?
So it kind of evolved naturally, which is part of what I also love about the story. It's not just like, one of us was just like, hey, I want to do this thing. It was, so one of the flashpoints, there were a few of them where IVs sort of saved us. And, like I said, now we do them consistently. We feel a lot better. But prior to, really getting into the weeds of this business, we didn't understand that. And it was something that we just did reactively. And it's saved us from plenty of certain different circumstances. So one of the first flashpoints was late 2024, back when we had more free time and money to spend on dumb things and not productive things. We had tickets for a music festival in Vegas and flew out there. We had planned the whole trip, already spent a lot of money on pre-booking stuff. And right before, we both promptly get sick.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, I don't hardly ever get time off work. You don't either. And we already planned this. Like, let's go bare knuckle this and figure it out. And we both show up the first night. There's a side show to the festival concert in our hotel. Go down there. Shahayra doesn't make it through the whole show. Like, we're just both feeling terrible.
Oh, no.
And I make it through the whole show, mostly sitting down. Go up to the room.
Everybody else is bouncing and jumping.
Yeah, everyone's
around.
having a great time. I'm just over here like, yeah. And so then the next day she's like, we should get some IVs. And being a nice hotel in Vegas, they have IVs downstairs, and they're
Of course they do.
overpriced.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, like, it wasn't even a hangover. It wasn't even like any of the normal Vegas debauchery. It was like we just got sick in Wisconsin and brought it with us and wanted to send it back there. So we got IVs in the hotel and then had a great time. Like, and music festival is a ton of walking, it's super hot, like all these things. And we would not have survived that in the state that we were in prior to the IVs.
Wow.
Like, a complete 180 for the trip. And so that was my first IV, was that.
Mm-hmm.
And so then, it really made us think, like, wow, there should be more availability in Madison. We both kind of had this idea prior to this, like, just separately, just seeing it other places and knowing it's a thing and knowing Madison makes a lot of sense demographically in certain ways. And that was one of the flashpoints that made it more material. Like, we should really think about this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
there we
think it kind of, I was just, you captured it all, but I was just going to say, I think it kind of started with us just observing that it would be a good idea and just asking the questions, like, one step at a time. What would it look like to start one of these? Like, we're not medical, so we'd probably go the franchise route. How much do these franchises cost? And then I figured out, like, actually, we could, with the right model, we could probably figure this out. And it sort of just started as an idea, and then all of a sudden we have a baby in the form of a hydrate.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So your place has chairs of some kind.
Yeah.
So people are laying there or sitting there
Yeah.
with the IV.
Yeah.
So tell me how the layout is.
Yeah. So we kind of have like well, when you walk in, there is an IV lounge that's more of a community base, which is another one of the reasons why we loved Hydrate, is because a lot of these other IV bars, clinics, spas, whatever you want to call them, they have partitions between chairs.
That's what I was going to
Yeah.
ask you about, because it seemed like these chairs they're not on top of each other, but
Right.
there's
Yeah.
definitely, you could be like, hey, what are you
Yeah.
getting today? Right?
Yeah.
What are you
Yeah.
getting? There's
Yeah.
a conversation that could happen.
Exactly.
And how
Yeah.
long are people sitting there?
45 minutes for
Okay.
the average vitamin drip.
So it'd be weird to not at least say
Yeah.
hello to the person
Yeah.
next to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I really love about this business is you're not, just selling vitamin drips. You're in the people business.
Mhm.
You're curating a nice experience for people to, one, leave feeling better, but two, to feel like they're part of a community where, if you're getting IV drips, you're meeting like-minded people that are also prioritizing their health, that might also be, successful in their own right in a different field. And now you've just expanded your network because you met them at the IV bar. So we do really fun curated events for our members that come, because there is just like such an amazing community within that network of individuals that are regularly taking care of themselves. And they're people that have, something to live for. Like they're passionate about their health, which is your only wealth at the end of the day.
Right?
Yeah.
True.
So that was one thing that was really important to us, was having that communal vibe and being a third space for people with the IV bar. You go out for coffee all the time with people. What about going out for a drip together and hanging out and having a quick meeting while you're doing something good for yourself? We also have private rooms, which we're very fortunate. We're one of the biggest, I think we're the biggest Hydrate in the system. Like
Are you really?
Yeah.
Well, you guys went all out.
We really did. Yeah. So we have the capacity for, I think,
as it sits, 10 people, like we can have 10 IVs running at once as it sits.
Yeah.
And we have a little bit more space. Like, for example, we have an office in the space that, as we build more momentum and don't have to always be in the office, we intend to convert that into another private IV room. So we have even a little bit of built-in room to grow.
Yeah.
So,
and I think keeping the office as an office that others can use too, like having a team meeting in the office while you're getting your drips, or, just having a change of scenery if you work from home, which I did for a very long time. And you can get really cooped up and not really see people unless you force yourself to.
Yeah. I have employees that work from home, and I think some of them love it for that reason, and some of them, I think I go stir crazy if I'm at home that much, but apparently not everyone is that way.
Oh,
So
I go
I completely
nuts.
understand.
Yeah, but it's nice because we have options for our folks. So you can sit in the lounge and, listen to the fountain and just zen out, recline, talk to your friends and just be like laid back. Or you can go into the private room and take a nap in between like meetings if you need to, or have a meeting itself in the office room. So yeah, I view it as being like the future of networking and a hub for people that, want something to live for and do outside of work without having to sacrifice, being on top of the ball and being a high performing individual.
It's interesting you talk about the networking side
Yeah.
and just the people that are around you, because it reminds me of Tony Robbins' event. I've been to a few of them.
Yeah.
And I think half, if not more, of the benefit that I get from it is people that I meet.
Yeah.
Because you're meeting people that are in that space of growth and and contribution and just becoming a better person.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, like with the IV thing, right? There's no one that's
Yeah.
going to be like, oh, I'm on the brink of suicide. I'm just going to get a quick IV.
Yeah. It doesn't help with that.
No.
No, I mean, it could. Like,
Okay.
Make you feel better,
I
right?
want to add my
Yeah.
disclaimers.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, yeah, no, I think it helps a lot of people that have been struggling with loneliness or mood instability, because it is really giving your body the precursors for okay, and we're in Wisconsin. Everyone here is chronically deficient in vitamin D, which is
We don't get a lot of sun, do we?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not really our fault. We're cooped up in offices half the time, and half the year the sun is, gone by the time we're back in our vehicle driving home. So, what can you really do other than supplement? Everyone takes oral supplements, but you're only getting about 30% absorption. Even from the food that you eat, you're not absorbing the full nutritional content. So with doing injections or IVs, you're getting more bioavailability of whatever that is that you're deficient in. And vitamin D is a great example because we get the winter blues. But when I started doing vitamin D supplementation consistently, it really helped me. It's a precursor to, well, actually, don't quote me on this, but I think it's implicated in the production of serotonin,
Okay.
which is great for your mood regulation. I mean, we're all on SSRIs, but what if we took vitamin D more consistently, and then maybe we don't have that dependency on the medication? So yeah, it's definitely something that I think a big challenge for us is just doing more education around, what's good for what, and getting people to think about this as something they can be doing as part of their routine wellness.
So tell me a story about that. You guys are great at segue here. I love it.
Yeah.
So somebody comes into your place and they're like, hey, I want something you got here.
Mm-hmm.
How do you tell what to give them or what they need? What would be best suited for them?
We ask.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like getting into this, like we've just onboarded an AGM to help out and habits.
What's AGM?
Assistant General Manager.
Oh, gosh, I
So,
was
yeah.
waiting for something more
No,
IV specific. But
not Latin, not medical, just, yeah.
My head was right there. Like,
A
I
little
don't know
bit
any of
more
your acronyms. Got it. Okay. That was broad.
So yeah, as we've gotten a firm grasp on, what we're doing and a basic understanding, and, we're always learning something new, but feeling confident in our like cursory understanding of everything we offer, what it'll help with. And, we just hired her. So, like whenever someone comes in, like whether it's us or her talking to them, we'll just ask how they feel and how they'd like to feel, whether in those words or not. And it really just depends. And sometimes we might not know the answer, and we'll defer to the nurse. And sometimes if the nurse doesn't know the answer, we'll defer to our medical oversight. Like, it's another thing we love about Hydrate. We have these various levels of help that we can defer to if we ever don't know the answer to a question. And sometimes there's no like complete cut and dry answer, because another thing with what we do is conservative medical outlooks tend not to look upon it as favorably as they probably should, because it's not something that, like it's a different modality and it's proactive, whereas our system is designed to be more reactive.
Very.
And other thing too is, so like everything we offer for the most part is stuff that already exists in your body, which means that it's very hard to patent, and basically you can't. And so because of that, then you can't get a firm grip on the market of something selling, vitamin B12 or vitamin D, etc. And so then it's like, there's not money in this. Like, we can just go make it in whatever other country for less than we can. And then it doesn't get studied the way it should. So vitamin supplementation, especially through IVs, it doesn't get, the clinical attention that it deserves. But for example, like we'll always be like, we're not going to say we treat something, but we'll say we'll help or, boost. But there's empirical evidence that it helps with certain things. We have one client who has, all sorts of medical history. And right now he's dealing with Parkinson's. And so NAD, which is its whole other conversation, it's Shahayra can explain it with her biomolecular science background better than I can, but it's basically like it's a bioavailable form of vitamin B3 heavily involved in cell repair and regeneration. And it's been implicated to help with a lot of things that they're related to aging. We start out with a lot of it when we're born, and then the levels significantly decrease by middle age. By the time we're getting close to leaving this realm of existence, there's really not any of it left. And anyway, so this gentleman with Parkinson's started supplementing the NAD with us, And the results we're seeing are just like amazing. Like he's not perfect in running marathons, but he's walking around without his hunch and his cane. Like I
Wow.
check in with his wife the next day, like, hey, how's he doing? And she's like, I couldn't believe it. I woke up and I walk out and he was up before me, which is rare. And he's sitting in his chair in the living room, giant smile plastered across his face. And it's like, what's going on? And then I see him get out of the chair, stand up with no cane, no hunch. And he's like, I feel better than I felt in a long time
Mm-hmm.
because of something that we offer that NAD, again, naturally exists in the body, can't patent it. It doesn't get the clinical attention that it deserves.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think some of that is by design too.
Yeah.
It's easy to hear a story like that and assume like it can't be that good. Like that's woo woo. Like the
Yeah.
like, but you know what we're doing is not. I mean, and I think it's by design under researched because what would happen to traditional healthcare if everyone had access to things that help the body do what it's designed to do, which is to heal itself and take care of itself? What would happen? We wouldn't have an industry for many pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, that sounds so tragic.
Yeah.
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 So tragic. We'd all be healthier. We
Yeah.
would leave this reactive medicine. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But preempting my own ADHD and like avoiding tangents. So to answer your question, like someone walks in and says, what do I get? We just consult them and we
Okay.
try to understand and use our knowledge to help them find what's going to be the most effective for them.
Is there any blood test or any skin test or something where like, oh, we can see that you're clearly deficient in these vitamins?
Yeah.
Great
Thank-
question. So we don't do any of that.
Not
Okay.
right now,
Yeah.
at
Okay.
least. I think we, as like a franchise, have considered doing that. I don't know where those conversations are at right now. But people frequently come in with their test results asking us like, hey, what does this mean? My cholesterol is high or low, or my blood pressure is high or low. What should I do? And what's really nice is Jonathan alluded to our medical oversight earlier. We have basically a company that we partner with that has basically a bench of very like, how would you say it? Like well educated, of course, because they're providers, but
And highly credentialed.
yeah, like expert providers in this functional medicine space where they're able to consult on who might be a good candidate for NAD, who might be a good candidate for even service offerings that we don't have at Hydrate. They're able to just have a medical clearance exam with clients when they come in to Hydrate and consult with them on what their test results show, what they might suggest, what they might not approve them for, because it does happen too, where we have to turn clients away. You know, we're never trying to push product just to push it. Like we always want to do what's going to be the safest and ultimately help that person the most. And sometimes that is telling them, hey, like we can't approve you because of this new, cardiac issue that you disclosed to us. You should just get approval from your cardiologist before coming in to see us. Or someone's vitals might not be within the range that we would want to see them at before treating them in our space. And I've even heard stories of nurses saving people's lives by saying like, hey, your blood pressure is too high. I think you need to go to the ER, and not treating them, whereas they wouldn't have gotten that care or advice unless they came in and had someone that evaluated, what they were going through holistically. In that particular story, this client that came in, the nurse took their vitals, their blood pressure is very high. The nurse sent them to the ER. They came back and they said the ER sent him home and that he was fine. This wasn't a Hydrate nurse, but it was a IV bar nurse. And she told me that she went with that client back to the ER and made them evaluate him because she was like, I don't feel safe putting my license on the line and giving him fluids right now, but he needs care. So you need to see him and take his experience seriously and basically was a patient advocate for him. So yeah, I think we do a really good job, even though we don't do direct testing in-house right now. We do a really good job of always recommending the best thing for clients as far as they want to take it. Like if they want to share their test results with us and have us like talk to our medical oversight about it, we're happy to. That's fantastic. And I love that they're buying in and willing to share that. But the nature of what we do, a lot of our vitamins and nutrients are very like there are things that you can naturally find in your diet unless it's NAD, which
What is NAD? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It keeps being mentioned.
So-
I'm like, under a rock
so
here.
Jonathan mentioned it, and I think in like one of your many tangents, but
I don't know what a tangent is.
No, it's all good.
breaking it down to a very basic level, it's a coenzyme that's in all of our cells, in our mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell.
Right?
You remember
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
from-
Fourth grade
Yeah.
science here, or sixth grade, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah,
It's been a minute.
Yeah, exactly. From biology class. But yeah, so NAD is a coenzyme used by our mitochondria to produce energy, but also to help with cellular regeneration. Basically, it helps our cells perform the necessary functions that it needs to. It's used in the Krebs cycle, if you're familiar, breaking down sugars into energy. So as we age, we deplete our natural levels, our natural NAD reserves that we're born with. The graph is like at birth, you're here, mid-age, you're here, and then it's kind of just exponentially down from there. Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to tell. I'm 90 years old.
Yeah,
Damn. But yeah, no, so it decreases with age. And what research has shown, like the latest longevity research shows that supplementing your natural NAD levels helps with all kinds of age-related ailments like chronic pain, inflammation, sleep quality, hormonal regulation, because it's working on a cellular level. So it gives you kind of global relief throughout the body. And the effects are very instant. It's incredible. I mean, this is what that gentleman that Jonathan mentioned earlier has been doing. And the testimonials you hear, I mean, it sounds hard to believe, but you really just got to try. Like the first time I did an NAD injection, I felt it right away. Like my cells were like, time
Just
to
like,
wake
where's
up.
that house? I'll lift it.
Yeah. And I had to take a seat and drink some water, and then I was good. So we do IVs of it, which actually can take up to 4 hours because of just how strongly you feel it. It's a vasodilator too, so it can drop your blood pressure a bit because of just the effects it's having in your body. But pretty soon after you stop the infusion, you feel great. It's just kind of while your body is receiving it, you feel these side effects of the molecule. But it's incredible. Like the things that I've seen it do for people. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else you would add to the NAD conversation?
No, you're better at explaining that one.
Yeah.
And
Does it make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
Is this a one hit, one kill kind of thing? Or this is got to come back every week or month or something of that nature?
Yeah, we see our members doing loading doses of it to really build up their house, like their foundation of NAD. So typically we see that looking like people doing IVs of it within 2 weeks to really get that baseline up, and then they maintain for the next time until they feel like their body is ready for another set of infusions with the injections in between.
So tell me about the 2 weeks. Is that an everyday thing? Or is it every few days?
Yeah, every few days. I think I wish I had like my reference in front of me, but I think it's like there's a maximum that you can safely do within a week. So I think what we've done in the past is like one at the beginning of the week, one at the end of the week for 2 weeks. So for a total of 4 throughout
Okay.
that 2-week period. But there's flexibility in that because it's hard for people to find like 4 hours at a time to sit down and like be available for that. So we've had people do it over the course of like a month. It's really best to do it kind of close together though, so that you're kind of topping off your levels and building up that strong foundation, because we use it up, we deplete it. And so I've heard people like out in Denver, where we've been for 10 years now, people are doing it like once every year, once every 6 months. It really varies from person to person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's not an everyday.
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah. I think people will maintain like on a monthly basis with their injections. I know nowadays this is a good thing and kind of a scary thing, because you can order NAD like off the internet. And I know some people give themselves injections at home, which is scary to me because it affects me very strongly. And I like there being a nurse there just monitoring my symptoms, my vitals, making sure I'm safe. But it is growing in accessibility to where if you're not squeamish and like are used to giving yourself injections at home, you can do it at home to maintain as well.
So how regulated is that specific industry?
Various degrees. So like all of our ingredients, they come from heavily vetted FDA regulated pharmacies that also sell to hospitals, clinics, and, you know, all these very blue label, you know, what people associate with healthcare type settings. You can buy similar stuff to what we get from varying degrees of sketchiness, you know, different places online.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. They could just
Yeah.
slap an NAD label on it and you're like, it's sugar water. I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
mean, it's, you know, that's the issue with like sort of the supplement industry. You know, there's supplements out there. I take supplements. I take BCAAs and my methylene blue and my colostrum, and, you know, like a lot of them are well studied, and, you know, there's some science to back it up. And some of them are just like, I don't know, like I listened to a podcast the other day about some of the pills they sell at gas stations, and I'm like,
The
I
John
never thought
Oliver
about-
one.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
watched that
I
yesterday.
never thought about how scary that industry is, and now I'm like,
When I saw that you
This
could buy the
dude-
packaging without a pill, and then you could buy the pill separate, and they could
literally
be whatever.
insane.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
No, it's like,
Dude.
okay,
Yeah.
I'm not a
Dude.
guy to trust a gas station supplement just because I like to get gas at a gas station.
Yeah.
Everybody stay in their lane.
Yeah.
But you go to the counter, right? And you're like, this is a lot of stuff. Who's buying all this stuff?
I always wonder, I'm like, who trusts this? And I don't know. Like,
But then you learn and like it's as bad as you thought.
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
it
Maybe
makes you
even
happy,
worse.
it makes you happy. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so like you can get similar stuff from places with various degrees of accreditation online, or, you know, like various degrees of oversight and regulation. But I mean, it's not like you can't walk into the places that we get ours from and just be like, hey, can I order some NAD?
Sure.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Tell me, I want to shift into the background business side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have, or you need these, is it bags? They come in bags?
Mhm.
Okay. So do you just have a storage room with a bunch of different bags? And
We
you're like,
do,
hey, we got to
actually.
find this.
Yeah, our break room has like racks of saline.
Okay.
But yeah, go ahead.
So it shows up just as a bag of saline.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah.
not like, and you know, like taking the bar concept, which I was so confused by the phrasing at first, like, why is it a bar? And then I started to see the places that have sort of the community environment we do, and I'm like, oh, that makes more sense.
Sure.
But anyway, so none of our cocktails are draft, like they're all mixed to order.
Okay.
And so what arrives is just bags of normal saline. It's what they use in the hospital and charge a lot of money for.
Mm-hmm.
And then what they don't do while they're charging a lot of money in the hospital is usually add anything to it. Sometimes they do. But we mix all the bags on site, and then we have the vitamins, the nutrients, those are stored in whatever their appropriate storage, whether refrigerator or room temperature. And then whenever someone comes in, whatever IV they're getting, we mix that for them on the spot.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mhm.
That's interesting. I guess in my head, I was picturing this is a bag of whatever NAD, but
Yeah.
it's saline, and then you're adding the
Mhm.
stuff
Yeah.
there. Okay.
The
That
NAD
makes,
comes in a little
Gotcha.
vial about that big.
Gotcha. So when you get a shipment,
Yeah.
is it a pallet of bags and stuff, or is
Well,
it?
no, it comes on like a pallet of like a bunch of heavy boxes of saline packed
All right.
inside of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to Jonathan's point about how, it comes like the meds themselves, the vitamins, they come in little vials. One of the reasons why we love Hydrate is that our franchise does not allow anyone that's not an RN to touch a needle.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the RNs have the training on how to compound meds, how to pull up the right concentrations, how to make sure that they're safely giving you the right dosage. We don't really play when it comes to like who's adding to the bag.
Sure.
And taking it a step further, we actually have a laminar airflow hood system at our location. We're one of the first hydrates to have it because the laws in Wisconsin require it essentially. We were very adamant about wanting our nurses to feel safe practicing under their license in our facility. And there's legislation in Wisconsin that basically says outside of the hospital, if you're adding more than 2 additives to an IV bag, then that's considered compounding. And they count saline as an ingredient.
Oh, so you're right there.
It's something like, I think it's 3 with saline. Yeah.
Okay.
Every single pre-selected cocktail on our menu has more than 3 additives in it.
Oh, interesting.
So we were very adamant about getting a sterile system that our nurses could feel safe compounding medications under, both like from a legal perspective, but also just from like the customer's point of view. It's really nice to kind of like watch over the bar your bag getting made, like you see that it's fresh and not some prepackaged mix that just got shipped, in that
Sure.
box over to you.
All
But
right.
you're getting like primo stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Primo.
Yeah.
Tell me a story about location.
Yeah.
Madison's a big area. You got
Yeah.
east, west, north,
Yep.
south, all that kind of stuff. They put lakes in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you choose the space? And did the space, you're like, that's the one, that looks like a good location? Or did you have a rough location and we had to find the space?
So that's a great question. And when we first, before we'd even decided upon a franchise, when we had this idea, started to get serious about it, we really liked the idea of Hilldale.
Okay.
And just, demographically, knowing the area, we're like, this will be great. And when we explored that more, it didn't make sense for a number of reasons. So then we went back to the drawing board, looked at a number of different places, mostly like downtown, a few of them on the west side. And then Madison Yards popped up right next to Hilldale. And we're like, what we do, it's generally targeted, or not generally targeted. Like, we all have veins and don't drink enough water.
Right.
But
True story.
What we see is the people who come in for this more often are the people who are wellness minded and generally a little bit more upwardly mobile. And those are the people who go to Whole Foods.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, right across from Whole Foods. The parking's easy. And it's a beautiful area. There's a lot of cool stuff happening there. There's some really nice apartments that have gone up and more that are going up. They're building a hotel. And it's really cool to see, way better use of space, highest and best use than the DMV parking lot that used to be there, as much as I loved that parking lot.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it just, it's really funny how it was like full circle. We had one idea and then we explored all these other ideas because that didn't make sense. And then we wound up at almost the idea that we started with.
Mm-hmm.
Huh, funny.
Yeah.
So how did you figure out square footage wise how much space you need? Did the franchise help with that, I imagine?
Well, like I said, we have the biggest Hydrate right now.
Yeah.
The franchise has recommendations on square footage, and we're even past a little bit of the higher end. It sort of just was the space that was available, and we kind of had a couple of iterations of the floor plan, what it could look like, and really just came up with meaningful use for every square foot that we're paying for. I'm really excited about a patio that we have as well, so we can do outdoor IVs.
Can you really?
Yeah.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah, we're doing
You don't
like
get that at a hospital.
right. Yeah, you can like actually sit in the sun and get
Wow.
your vitamin D in the natural way. Yeah, we're doing lots of fun things out there this summer, having like fitness pop-ups and yeah, the Madison Yards area. What's really nice too is in our building we have conference space too for, I think the capacity is like 179 or something huge. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm very excited to host like seminars with researchers from the university talking about longevity science and NAD for, people that haven't heard about it before, or even just hosting like nonprofits that need space, and that's a very easy way for us to give back to the community, which is what we're all about. It's like one of our deeply rooted values is rooting deeply in our communities and being a part of the rising tide for
Sure.
everyone. Yeah.
Right on. That is super cool.
Yeah.
I want to shift gears. We don't have a ton of time, but I do
Yeah.
want to shift gears because talking business and you have employees.
Yeah.
So let's talk employees.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
The most, I love the reaction. I love it. Oh, God. So you get this place built or you get the place rented. You got to do a little build out. You got to find some nurses. Well, I guess tell me what kind of employees you guys have.
Yeah. So right now we have an AGM and we have what, four nurses
Five.
with
Okay.
five,
I don't know.
fifth
She's just under
starting
locker
on
letter.
Friday. Yeah. So we'll have 5. So we'll be 6 total. And then if you include us, we're 8. But
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So how hard was it to find the manager and then the nurses?
Very hard.
It is never easy. Right? That's why I love this question.
It's really hard. Yeah. Katie and Amy, who are the duo that basically run and lead Hydrate from the top at corporate, they always say, business is easy, people are hard. Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
I think the look on your face says more than what you're saying.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think our current team, we love our current team, but it wasn't easy. We learned some lessons the hard way, of
That's the game.
needing to hire slower.
Yeah.
Doing more due diligence. Now we have every nurse do an IV on us before they're allowed to prick anyone
Wow.
else.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you about this.
Yeah.
So I used to give blood pretty often.
Yeah.
But I'd always leave looking like I was a heroin addict. Because I'm like,
because you bruised.
Well, sometimes it would be like, we can't find a vein. I'm like, if I stuck a knife in my arm, it would bleed. Just trust.
Yeah.
Like you can see the veins kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they'd have a second nurse come over and a third nurse come over. And it's like, I've been stabbed 50 times for 1 pint of blood.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So it was one of those, like, I understand.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're volunteers or if they're whatever's going on.
Yeah.
It seemed to be B team a lot.
Yeah.
Well, not a fan. So I wonder, like, you guys have to find someone.
So with nurses, it's funny. IV starts are actually a relatively niche skill.
Okay.
And so we only hire registered nurses. Like theoretically, phlebotomists, EMTs can technically do this in a lot of states, I believe, including Wisconsin. But, what we do, it's something that's in a lot of ways very evergreen, but it's also something that's serious. Like there are needles and veins involved, as, chill and relaxing as the environment is. And the way we make it chill and relaxing is by making sure that all the serious parts are taken care of appropriately. And so nurses, they know what to do if something ever goes wrong, but they don't, from my understanding, they really don't teach IV starts that much or at all in a lot of nursing schools.
Oh.
Well, they teach it, but you don't get as much training as you might like on the job.
So it's kind of like learning how to ride a bike at a seminar. Like you were taught.
Exactly.
But until you actually get on the bike very often,
you're
going to fall.
So we always look to hire nurses that have a lot of experience doing IVs. We're not the place to come learn how to start doing IVs. And our nurses, I'm really proud of them all. They're amazing. We have people come in with a lot of scar tissue or rolling veins or just veins that aren't as visible. And I've seen them get some of the hardest sticks like through the hand or just like switching to another hand if someone like, you know, has a preference and being able to get the vein that the client prefers, even if it's not the easiest one that's most visible. So yeah, we have amazing nurses that have experience doing IVs like in labor and delivery or in like the
Infusion center?
yeah, in the infusion center or everyone's very, very talented, and I feel very confident whenever we come to, you know, have a client who's very nervous. They'll get the stick and then they're like, oh, that was really easy. Like, you're really good. Or like I have people that come in and they say, oh my gosh, I always get IVs at the hospital because I get iron or whatever. And they always struggle and you did it. So we have really good talent.
Yeah, when you get a nurse that knows what they're doing and they're
Yeah.
like, bloop,
Yeah.
you're like, wait, how come they couldn't do that?
Yeah, we have the Google reviews to back it up. Like,
I stuck me well.
Yeah.
I'm the worst. Like, my veins are pretty easy, but I'll be like, yeah, I want forearms so I can sit and type on my laptop. Don't get too much of the hair so the tape doesn't hurt me. And
You can type on a laptop while you're getting an IV?
Oh, yeah.
oh, 100%.
Oh, wow.
We have people
Yeah.
take whole meetings. Like, you know, like we have the private room, which it's funny. It's great for two ends of the spectrum. People who are hungover, and I've gone in there, the lights are off, just like covered in a blanket. I'm like, dude, you good? Yeah. And then also,
Wow.
like one of our partner businesses we worked with for different things, they came in and did like a team meeting. 3 of them were getting IVs, and we have a little TV in there. You can project your Zoom or your meeting notes, and they all had like their little team meeting while getting their IVs.
Oh,
I'm like, it's
funny.
just a great use of, you know, time where you're already sitting somewhere. Like the IV, it's like we
Yeah.
spend so much time in our lives being sedentary, and you know, people like one thing we run into friction with is people are like, I don't know if I'll have time to do this. I'm like, dude, you literally don't lose the time. You can sit on your laptop and work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's nice too, to piggyback off of that, is that we have our spa, which is great for people that can make it over to us. And I love that we're on a bus route and it's bikeable and everything like that. Great parking access. But we also do mobile services. So we
You
can
do?
have nurses come to you. Yeah.
Okay.
And we just finalized a partnership with FPC, you know, Sylvie, Majestic, Orpheum, High Noon, where we can actually come and get their talent, their artists, their performers rehydrated and ready to rock before their shows,
Huh.
which is so nice too, because like you think about being on tour, like, you know, talk about like Vegas and us protecting our investment while on vacation. Imagine how many like fans you might disappoint if you get sick and venues and all the people that aren't going to get their check.
Yeah.
So yeah, protecting like the artist's value, like, and also making them feel better, like stopping in Madison to get that quick drip and we come to you. For people that are like very busy or like only in town for a couple, you know, hours at a time before they're off to the next thing. Like, we've done mobile services for folks that are in town for like baseball games just for like a couple
Wow.
hours. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
cool. I'm just
Yeah.
picturing the company meeting where I'd be like, hey, I need you guys to throw something extra in there so that the crew pays attention. Instead of them just zoning off and checking
Yeah.
the email while the meeting's going.
Yeah.
I hate being an adult. There's so many jokes I could think of.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's a safe
Yeah.
place here. We're all good.
Yeah.
Jonathan, Shahayra, thank
Yeah.
you much. We got to talk really quick about address. Where can people find you?
4707 Madison Yards Way, just right across the street from Whole Foods.
4707 Madison Yards Way. Right on.
Yeah.
And how about a website?
HydrateIVBar.com/Madison.
Nice. And IV bar, IV, just letters. right?
Yep.
Okay.
IV bar.
Yeah.
IV, not 4.
All right.
Yeah.
I suppose sure, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
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 Or doesn't, right? IV.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much for being on the show.
Thank you for
Yeah.
having us.
Thank you so much.
This has been Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. We're locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie. If you're listening or watching this on the web, if you could do us a huge favor, give it a big old thumbs up, subscribe, and of course, share it with your entrepreneurial friends, especially those friends that may be shopping for a franchise, maybe had a little too much to drink, are looking to revitalize and maybe get that youth back, if that's a possibility, I suppose, to a point.
Yeah.
Check out Hydrate IV Bar. We'd like to thank you, our wonderful listeners, as well as our guests, Jonathan and Shahayra. Hydrate IV Bar. Can you tell us the website one more time?
HydrateIVBar.com/Madison.
Awesome. And are there hours we need to worry about?
We're open 7 days a week.
All right.
We're currently actually evaluating if we want to be open early mornings and or late evenings, like for those folks that are working during the day and can't come in during their typical hours. But as of right now, we open at 10 every day and we close at 6 Monday through Thursday. Friday through Sunday, we close at 4.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it's not set in stone, right? You got to
Yeah.
figure out what the people want.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
we have the mobile services. Like we've had some of those done at 8 p.m. We've had some of them done at 8 a.m. So
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
we're happy to
Awesome.
work with anyone's schedule.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Past episodes can be found morning, noon, and night at the podcast link found at drawincustomers.com. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. I want you to stay awesome. And if you do nothing else, enjoy your business. And Authentic Business Adventures is brought to you by Calls on Call, offering call answering and receptionist services for service businesses across the country on the web at callsoncall.com. And of course, the Bold Business Book, a book for the entrepreneur and all of us, available wherever fine books are sold.